Good morning friends, welcome to my channel. You can search my all the videos by typing Pravinesh publication on YouTube. Watch my all the videos till end. If you like the videos, then please press the subscribe button which is given in the bottom and press the bell icon so you will get the updates. Today I will explain Standard 8 Science chapter number 8, that is cell structure and functions. Friends, first of all, this word is not new for you. You already studied in your previous standard what is cell. Cell is a basic, fundamental and structural unit of every living organism. We know that how we can build our home, that is houses. We put a bricks so that we can make a house. So brick is the smallest unit of any building. So same as cell is the smallest basic, fundamental as well as structural unit of all living organism. Why it is structural unit? Because it forms the tissue then after organ, and organ then after living organism. Why is a fundamental or functional unit? Because all the living organisms, they perform their metabolic processes, all different kind of life processes. So they are performed by the cells only. Now let us understand this chapter from the textbook. You have already learned that things around us are either living or non-living. Further, you may recall that all living organisms carry out certain basic functions. Can you list these functions? Different sets of organs perform the various functions you have listed. In this chapter, you shall learn about the basic structural unit of an organ, which is the cell. Cell may be compared to bricks. Bricks are assembled to make a building. Similarly, cells are assembled to make the body of every organism. Now topic 8.1, discovery of the cell. Robert Hooke in 1665 observed slices of a cork under a simple magnifying device. Cork is a part of the bark of a tree. He took thin slices of cork and observed them under a microscope. He noticed partition boxes or compartments in the cork slice, which is given in figure 8.1. These boxes appeared like a honeycomb. He also noticed that one box was separated from the other by a wall or a partition. Hooke coined the term cell for each box. What Hooke observed as boxes or cells in the cork were actually dead cells. Cells of living organisms could be observed only after the discovery of improved microscope. Very little was known about the cell for the next 150 years after Robert Hooke's observation. Today we know a lot about cell structure and its functions because of improved microscope having high magnification. Friends, here we know that Robert Hooke saw the first cell under a simple magnifying glass. He observed this cell with the help of this magnifying devices. Friends, that was very little magnifying devices. But in this era, we have a powerful devices, that is magnifying devices. So we can see the internal structure of cells also. So we can say that the discovery of this microscope led the invention in field of biology. Now 8.2, the cell. Both bricks in a building and cell in the living organisms are basic structural units. The building through built of similar bricks have different design, shapes and sizes. Similarly, in the living world, organisms differ from one another, but all are made up of cells. Cells in the living organisms are complex living structures, unlike non-living bricks. Friends, on your screen, you can see two diagrams. One is a brick wall and second one is a B, that is onion peel. You can see that structurally both are similar. The egg of a hen represents a single cell and is big enough to be seen by the unaided eye. Now topic 8.3, organisms show variety in cell numbers, shapes and sizes. How do scientists observe and study the living cells? They use microscope which magnifying objects. Stains are used to color parts of the cell to study the detailed structure. There are millions of living organisms. They are of different shapes and sizes. Their organs also vary in shape, size and number of cells. Let us study about some of them. Now in this topic we have a word, friends, stain. What is the meaning of stain? Friends, here stain is a coloring agent. If you observe any cell under a microscope without using a stain that you can see on the screen, you cannot see the parts of a cell separately. But the same cell, with the help of a stain, you can see the different parts are visible clearly. Why? Because the cell component, these are the small structures present in the cell, they absorb the stain differently. Some of the component will absorb the stain more, so they are darker in color, and some absorb stain less, so they are lighter in color. You can see in this diagram, this is a onion pill, that is cells of a onion pill, in which one the boundaries are darker, that means the cell wall are darker, and the nucleus is also darker, but the cytoplasm, that is middle part, which absorb the less stain, so it is light in color. Second part, shapes of a cell, size of a cell and number of a cell that may be vary from one organism to another organism. Same as in our body, we have a different types of cell. The longest cell is a nerve cell that you can see on your screen, and the other cell, that is RBC, red blood corpuscles. Different type of cells are shown in this diagram. So we have a difference in the number of cells as well as their shape and their size. The shape, size and number are depending on the function they perform. Now, number of cells. Can you guess the number of cells in a tall tree or in a huge animal like the elephant? The number runs into billions and trillions. Human body has a trillions of cells which vary in shape and sizes. Different groups of cells perform a variety of functions. Organisms made of more than one cells are called multicellular. Multi means many and cellular, that is cell. Organisms, the number of cells being less in smaller organisms does not in any way affect the functioning of the organism. You will be surprised to know that the organisms with billions of cells begin life as a single cell, which is a fertilized egg. The fertilized egg cell multiplies and the number of cells increases as development proceeds. Look at the figure 8.3a and b. Both organisms are made up of a single cell. The single cell organisms are called unicellular. Uni means one and cellular means cell. Here, friends, we have two topics: unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Unicellular organism means what? And organisms which have only one cell are called unicellular organisms, that you can see on your screen, that is amoeba and paramecium. They are the single cell organisms and are known as unicellular organisms. On the other hand, we have a multicellular organism. What is the meaning of multicellular organism? Organisms with the many cells are known as multicellular organisms. For example, rat, elephant, human beings, we are all multicellular organisms. A single cell organism performs all the necessary functions that multicellular organism perform. A single cell organisms like amoeba captures and digests food, respires, excretes, grows and reproduces. Similar functions in multicellular organisms are carried out by groups of specialized cells forming different tissues. Tissues in turn form organs. Now, shape of cells. Refer to figure 8.3a. How do you define the shape of amoeba in the figure? You may say that the shape appears irregular. In fact, amoeba has no definite shape. Unlike other organisms, it keeps on changing its shape. Observe the projections of varying length protruding out of its body. These are called pseudopodia. Pseudo, that is false, and podia, that is feet. As you learnt in class 7, these projections appear and disappear as amoeba moves or feeds. Friends, here the word is pseudopodia. Pseudopodia are the false feet of amoeba. Amoeba intake food with the help of the pseudopodia. Here we discuss about the shape. Here the shape of the amoeba is irregular. It is unicellular organism. On the other hand, you can say another unicellular organism, that is paramecium, that you can see on your screen, which is also a unicellular, but it has a perfect sleeper kind shape. A white blood cells, WBC, in human blood is another example of a single cell which can change its shape. But while WBC is a cell, amoeba is a full-fledged organism capable of independent existence. What shape would you expect in organisms with millions of cells? Figure 8.4 ABC shows different cells such as blood cells, muscles and nerve cells of a human beings. The different shapes are related to their specific functions. Generally, cells are round, spherical or elongated. Some cells are long and pointed in both ends. They exhibit spindle shape. Cells sometimes are quite long. Some cells branch like the nerve cells or a neuron. The nerve cells receives and transfer messages, thereby helping to control and coordinate the working of different parts of the body. Here friends, in a diagram on your screen, you can see that three diagram A, B and C. A is a spherical red blood cells of humans, B spindle shaped muscle cells, and C long branch nerve cells. Here friends, nerve cells is very important. Whatever information we acquired from outside the body, that has to reach to the brain so that our brain can function. For example, you are listening right now as well as you are watching my video. So here by two way you get the information. One is the audio, second one is the video. Audio you intake with the help of your ear and video you intake with the help of your eye. Who takes this message to our brain? So here the nerve cell will take this message towards the brain. If I say stand up, so you will stand up. So by here you intake this information and nerve cells will take this information towards your brain and you will stand up. So brain controls all the activity with the help of this nerve cells. Can you guess which part of the cell gives it shape? Components of the cell are enclosed in a membrane. This membrane provides shape to the cells of the plant and animals. Cell wall is an additional covering over the cell membrane in plant cells. It gives shape and rigidity to these cells. Bacterial cells also have a cell wall. Friends, cell wall or a cell membrane, these are two different components, but here we discuss they are same. Next year you will understand these two are the different component. So here who will give the proper shape to the cell? So answer is membrane or a cell wall. Next is size of cells. The size of a cell in living organisms may be as small as a millionth of a meter, that is micrometer or a micron, or may be as large as a few centimeters. However, most of the cells are microscopic in size and are not visible to the unaided eye. They need to be enlarged or magnified by microscope. The smallest cell is 0.1 to 0.5 micrometer in bacteria. The largest cell measuring 170 millimeter to 130 millimeter is the egg of an ostrich. On your screen you can see that both the cell, one is of a 0.1 micron and the second one is the egg of ostrich, which is very a large cell that you can see without using any microscope. Now friends, activity 8.2, boil a hen's egg, remove the shell. What do you observe? A white material surrounded the yellow part. White material is albumin, which solidifies on boiling. The yellow part is a yolk. It is a part of the single cell. You can observe this single cell without any magnifying device. Friends, hen's egg. We already have seen this hen's egg. Here the white outer ring covering, the solid white outer ring cover is made up of calcium carbonate and it is a cell wall of this single cell. The inner white part is made up of albumin and the yellow part is a yolk, which is a part of a cell. The size of the cell has no relation with the size of the body of the animal or a plant. It is not necessary that the cells in the elephant be much bigger than those in a rat. The size of the cell is related to its function. For example, nerve cells both in the elephant and rat are long and branched. They perform the same function, that of transferring messages. So here friends, we understood about the cell, about its shape, about its size and about its number. Shape, size and number are not depending on the size of the organisms. Here we understood that rat and elephant, they both have a same size of nerve cells. They are both branched. So the shape, size and number is not depending on the size of the living organism. Now topic 8.4, cell structure and function. You have learned that each living organism has many organs. You have studied in class 7 about the digestive organs, which together constitute the digestive system. Each organ in the system performs different functions such as digestion, assimilation and absorption. Similarly, different organs of a plant perform a specific or a specialized functions. For example, roots help in the absorption of water and minerals. Leaves, as you learnt in class 7, are responsible for synthesis of food. Each organ is further made up of smaller parts called tissue. A tissue is a group of smaller cells performing a specific function. Paheli realized that an organ is made up of tissue which in turn are made up of cells. The cells in a living organism is the basic structural unit. On your screen you can see that, friend, cells constitute to combine and form a tissue. All tissue combine to form an organ, and organ they combine to form a body of an organism. For example, our heart cell, they combine to form a tissue which is a cardiac tissue. This tissue combines to form an organ which we know as a heart. Different organ like heart, kidney, lungs, etc. they combine to form our body, and that is body of an organism. So we can say that cell is a basic structural and functional unit of every living organism. Now friends, we discussed topic 8.3, parts of the cell. We have three main parts of a cell, that is cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. Friends, cell membrane means what? It is the outer covering of a cell which protect the cell, which regulate entry and exit of a substances in and out of a cell. Friends, we can say that cell membrane is also one kind of a watchman. What is the function of watchman in our society? Watchman regulates entry and exit of any people in and out of our society. He take information from the people, where you have to go, which house you have to go, and if he thinks the person is proper, then he allowed to enter into our society. And if he thinks the person is not proper, then he will not allow that person into our society. So, cell membrane, same function, it regulates entry and exit of a substance in and out of a cell. Second is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is a jelly-like material which is present in our cell, where all the different organelles are suspended. Which different organelles? Like Golgi body, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, lysosomes, etc. Next is a nucleus. Nucleus is the main controlling unit of our cell. As we have a brain in our body, in our cell we have a nucleus which regulates all the activity of a cell. Now let us study cell membrane from the textbook. The basic component of a cell are cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. The cytoplasm and nucleus are enclosed within the cell membrane, also called the plasma membrane. The membrane separates cells from one another and also the cell from the surrounding medium. The plasma membrane is porous and allows the movement of substances or materials both inward and out. The boundary of the onion cell is a cell membrane covered by another thick covering called the cell wall. The central dense round body in the center is called the nucleus. The jelly-like substance between the nucleus and the cell membrane is called cytoplasm. You have learned earlier that the cell membrane gives shape to the cell. In addition to the cell membrane, there is an outer thick layer in a cell of plants called cell wall. This additional layer surrounding the cell membrane is required by the plants for protection. Plant cells need protection against variations in temperature, high wind speed, atmospheric moisture, etc. They are exposed to these variations because they cannot move. Cells can be observed in the leaf peel of Prudentia, Elodia or Rio. You can prepare a slide as in the case of onion. Paheli asked Bojo if he can also observe animal cells. Figure 8.6, that is human chick cells. You can see that in this diagram, nuclear membrane, cell membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. Now cytoplasm, it is a jelly-like substance present between the cell membrane and the nucleus. Various other components or organelles of cells are present in the cytoplasm. These are mitochondria, Golgi bodies, ribosomes, etc. You will learn about them in later classes. Now nucleus. It is an important component of the living cell. It is generally spherical and located in the center of the cell. It can be stained and seen easily with the help of a microscope. Nucleus is separated from the cytoplasm by a membrane called the nuclear membrane. This membrane is also porous and allows the movement of material between the cytoplasm and inside of the nucleus. With a microscope of higher magnification, we can see a smaller spherical body in the nucleus. It is called the nucleoids. In addition, Nucleus contains thread-like structures called chromosomes. These are carry gene and help in the inheritance of transfer of characteristics from the parents to the offsprings. The chromosomes can be seen only when the cell divides. Now friends, here nucleus, it contains chromosomes. What is chromosome? This is the inheritance material of the body. Friends, you look like your parents, that is your father as well as mother. Some parents, they have a more height, so their child is also with the more height. These are all information carried from parents to the child with the help of these chromosomes. These chromosomes, they have a gene. This is a functional part of a DNA. What is the full form of DNA? Deoxyribonucleic acid. This is inheritance material. So whatever characteristics we get from the parents, that is with the help of these chromosomes. These chromosomes are visible under a microscope only when at the time of cell divides. Gene. Gene is a unit of inheritance in living organisms. It controls the transfer of hereditary characters from parents to offsprings. This means that your parents pass some of their characteristics onto you. If your father has brown eyes, you may also have brown eyes. If your mother has curly hair, you might also end up having curly hair. However, the different combination of genes from parents result in different characteristics. Friends, on your screen you can see the diagram of this DNA, and the one part of the DNA is called gene. Nucleus, in addition to its role in inheritance, acts as a control center of the activities of the cell. The entire content of a living cell is known as protoplasm. It includes the cytoplasm and the nucleus. Protoplasm is called the living substance of the cell. The nucleus of the bacterial cell is not well organized like the cells of a multicellular organisms. There is no nuclear membrane. The cells having nuclear material without a nuclear membrane are termed prokaryotic cells. The organisms with these kind of cells are called prokaryotes. Pro, that is primitive, karyon, that is nucleus. Examples are bacteria and blue-green algae. The cells like onion cells and chick cells having cell organized nucleus with a nuclear membrane are designated as eukaryotic cells. All organisms other than bacteria and blue-green algae are called eukaryotes. Eu, that is true, and karyon, that is nucleus. Here friends, we have two words, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes, that means these are the cells which have no cell membrane, so they are known as prokaryote. They have a single chromosomes. On the other hand, eukaryotic cell, they have a membrane bound organelles, they have a cell membrane, and they have many chromosomes present in the cell. Examples of prokaryotes are bacteria, blue-green algae, and examples of eukaryotes are humans, rats, elephants, etc. While observing the onion cells under the microscope, did you notice any blank looking structures in the cytoplasm? It is called vacuole. It could be single and as big as in an onion cell. Chick cells have a smaller vacuoles. Large vacuoles are common in plant cells. Vacuoles in animal cells are much smaller. Friends, vacuoles. What is the meaning of vacuole? These are the empty space present in the cell. You can see in the diagram, animal cell, they have a smaller vacuole, and plant cell, they have a larger vacuole. In plant cell, size of the vacuole is up to 90% of the cell. What is the function of vacuoles? It stores some waste material as well as some foodstuffs. You might have noticed several small colored bodies in the cytoplasm of the cells of potential leaf. They are scattered in the cytoplasm of the leaf cells. These are called plastids. They are of different colors. Some of them contain green pigment called chlorophyll. Green color plastids are called the chloroplasts. They provide green color to the leaves. You may recall that chlorophyll in the chloroplast of leaves is essential for the photosynthesis. Friends, plastid. What are plastids? Plastids are two types, colored plastids and non-color plastids. Color plastids, they impart color in the living organism. For example, in a plant leaf, they are green in color. Why they are green in color? Because they have a pigment called chlorophyll, which is green in color. That's why they appear green. So these plastids, that is chlorophyll, are known as chloroplast, and they help in the photosynthesis process. Friends, what is photosynthesis? By this process, plant make their own food. There are other type of plastids also, like leucoplast, chromoplast, etc. You will learn about plastids in the higher classes. Now 8.6, Comparison of plant cell and animal cell. If you recall activity 8.3 and 8.4, you should be able to compare plant and animal cells. Observe the plant and animal cells carefully in figure 8.7 A and B. Let us tabulate the similarity and distinguish features of plant cell and animal cells. Only a few features are mentioned. You may add more in table 8.1. Friends, on your screen you can see the diagram of a plant cell and animal cell. You need to complete this table 8.1, that is comparison of plant cell and animal cell. On your screen, this is a difference between plant cell and animal cell. Friends, you need to complete table 8.1. This difference is only for your help and you can learn from this. Now friends, we understood this chapter. This is very small chapter. Now you have to read from the textbook. What we understood from this chapter: cell, its shape, size, number, its different component like cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. So now you have to complete the exercise of the textbook. If you have any doubt, then you can WhatsApp me on my number. My WhatsApp number is written over here, that is 9016487991.